So I've spent the last few days digging into macOS 26, aka Tahoe. And here's the thing, this update isn't just about pretty liquid glass effects. It has a ton of powerful features that could really change how we teach, plan, and cut down on the admin chaos. Now, Apple haven't really shown us yet how to use these new tools in the classroom, which is where I come in. So I'm Steve, I'm an EdTech coach and primary teacher, and it's my role to support teachers in integrating technology in meaningful and powerful ways across the curriculum. And I'm going to walk you through the real upgrades that matter here for teachers. From instant live translations that you can use in parent meetings, to the new Spotlight search that saves a ton of time when you're starting a new task, to smart AI shortcuts that can change meeting notes into tasks in the Reminders app. If you missed WWDC this week, then you've probably heard people talking about the shiny new design. But trust me, the actual magic is buried deeper in this update. So I'm going to show you today some amazing hidden tools in macOS 26 to turn your Mac into a powerful teaching assistant. Let's start with a quick tour of the new interface, and I'll show you how we can set up Control Center for the classroom. So this is what the new liquid glass effect looks like. You can see the new design in some of these widgets that I've got across the top here, and the same in the dock at the bottom. So we've got some nice new redesigned logos like the Mail app, for example, and the Shortcuts app over here, which we'll come back to later. And there are lots of different ways that we can customize how these look at the bottom. Just going to quickly head to settings to show you these new appearance features here. So we can choose, like before, between dark and light mode, but there's also now clear and tinted, which kind of mirrors the iPhone and iPad updates. So you can see here, if we choose clear, then we've got this nice kind of glass effect across all of the apps here. And then for the tinted mode, we can change here between different colors. And you'll see that that changes how these tinted icons and the widgets look at the top. I'm going to come on to later how to customize the control center up here, which again looks new, and we've got these new liquid glass designed little widgets here at the top. I've got lots of features here that are really useful for teachers, but we'll come back onto that in a moment. I want to show you, first of all, one of the major updates to the macOS 26 ecosystem. So as teachers, you'll find that you're generally switching between different apps and resources, lesson plans, student data, and this is where the new Spotlight in macOS 26 comes in. You've always been able to access Spotlight with Command and Space from anywhere on Mac. Now we've got these new buttons here, which help us to search our device in a much more powerful way. So you can search applications, files, actions, and crucially, the clipboard. We can see not just the most recently copied item, but a list of previously copied items. So of course, we can search for things that we have made before, like presentations that you've created, just by searching keywords. But what's really cool in this new Spotlight search is that we can just abbreviate some of the actions that we want to do. For example, I could search GC for Google Chrome, and it recognizes what I'm after straight away. So this is a really quick way of switching between apps, and it's as simple as just doing Command Space and typing a few letters to get to your next task. And even better than just opening things from Spotlight search, we can start an action from here. So we could do something like send an email, and we can run that straight away and type in what we want to send, the message, the recipients, and the subject, and we can hit send and fire that off without even opening the Mail app, which is awesome. And as you can see, there are loads of other actions here that you can type into Spotlight search to start your next task. You could also calculate mathematical equations in Spotlight search and swap between currencies. All right, so let's head back to Control Center here. And I touched on this earlier, there are a number of different controls that you can add to the Control Center. Like iPhone, like iPad, you can edit the controls and really customize it the way that you want. There are a ton of things that you can add to this space. And of course, this will depend on what suits you and your preferences. I'll just go through a few that I've added here in case you find them useful as well. So obviously I've got my general system settings like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, change in focus, and then there's a few other things that as a teacher I find that are really helpful to have in this space, like a countdown timer, the ability to start a quick note, share your screen. You've got display settings, music settings, and then apps that I tend to use quite a lot, like the calculator, for example. This is to capture a voice note. You've got the background sounds function as well, which is nice. And then you've got this live captions feature. And finally, this reduce transparency button, which can be really useful if you're finding it difficult to see some of these controls with the new liquid glass effect. And if I reduce the transparency, you'll see that it makes it a bit clearer to read. It affects the widgets up here at the top as well as the controls in the control center. So if you teach in a multilingual school, or you've got parents, students, colleagues that speak different languages, then the live translation feature in macOS 26 is a game changer. At the moment, it's only for messages, FaceTime, and the new phone app that's just come to Mac. And it means that during online meetings like FaceTime calls with parents who speak different languages, then you can enable live translation to automatically translate everything that's been said in real time. And this removes a huge communication barrier, especially for those sensitive conversations. Live translation can help you as a teacher build stronger relationships and reduce misunderstandings. And let's hope that Apple bring this to more apps in the future. Now, the Shortcuts app on macOS 26 has gone from being quite nice to have to being a serious time saver with the new power of Apple Intelligence. You can use the Apple Intelligence model to create images, adjust the tone of text to summarize, to create a list, create a table, and you can add these to your own automated workflows. Now, if you've never used shortcuts before, I'm going to show you a couple of examples, and I've put the links in the description to these so you can use these shortcuts yourselves as well. The first one is this shortcut that I created called Summarize Copied Text. So as you can see, it gets the last thing that you copied from your clipboard, it summarizes that, it shows it in text form, and it also copies it to the clipboard ready to be pasted elsewhere. Let me show you how that works. So I'm here on the National Geographic website. I'm learning about a new type of frog that I'm going to share with my students later, and I'm going to copy this text here. Now, when I run my shortcut, I've called it Summarize Copied Text. When I run that shortcut, it will take the text that I've copied and then create a summarized text version of that. Now, it's already copied this text so that I can paste it somewhere else. So if I wanted to create a note, for example, then I can just paste it into there. So a nice quick way to summarize a section of text just from taking the last thing that you copied to your clipboard. So this one's a little bit more complex. It asks you to paste text from some meeting notes that you've created, or maybe minutes from a meeting that have been shared with you. And then it uses the ChatGPT model to run this task, which is to create a listed summary of anything that needs an action. So that response is then split into new lines and added to the Reminders app. So here I've got some quite lengthy minutes from a recent meeting. I'm going to select all of that and copy it. I'm going to run this shortcut, and the first thing that I'll be asked to do is paste the text here. Okay, so I've got all that text from the meeting notes there. I'm going to press done. You can see that it's now working on that in the background. And when it's done, it will split the response and change any action into a reminder on the Reminders app. So now it's finished, and you can see all the tasks that it's created here. Let me go to my Reminders app and we'll see if that's worked. So here is the list of all the actions from the minutes. Now, if there's anything that doesn't apply to me, then I can just tick it off here and it will be removed from my to-do list. But it allows me to go through and just see any of the actionable points that I might need to do something about later. So I've created links for these two shortcuts that I've made here with the power of Apple Intelligence. They're linked in the description below if you would find those useful. Now let's move on to Image Playground and Genmoji. Now I covered some of these features in a previous video when I was talking about these new AI Apple Intelligence features for Mac. There have been a few changes in the macOS 26 update, which is again expanded the creative toolkit that you can use as part of your lessons and planning. So for Genmoji, for example, it's now included in the Image Playground app. It used to be that you could only create Genmoji from the emoji dialog when you're typing in a particular app. So it's now here, so you can create Genmoji directly. And before, you were just able to describe the Genmoji and it would create it and a few different options for that. You can now combine multiple emojis together. So for example, I might choose to mix a love heart with a laughing face. And you've got this combination of the two things. Now the results have been pretty mixed from trying it so far. As you can see, it may not give you exactly what you want, but this is a new direction for Genmoji, which I'm sure will allow for more creativity and more customizations of these new emojis. You can also mix particular emojis with a text description as well. So it might be that I've got this face and I want to have it with a hat as well. So I can mix emojis and text descriptions together to create new Genmoji. As well as Genmoji being part of the Image Playground app, you've now got these new ChatGPT styles like oil painting, watercolor, print, anime, and vector. So again, we might choose to choose one of these suggestions down here from the bottom, and we can see the kind of thing that it comes up with. So we've got this kind of vector style. I've chosen volcano, I've chosen the shocked emoji. We'll see what it builds based on this prompt that I've given it. So this gives you much more control over the style of image that is created with these new extra styles from ChatGPT. This is perfect for creating things like digital badges and stickers, creating images that could be prompts for story starters, and generally hooking students into learning with these fun, unique images. Now let's move on to another new feature for Mac, which is this Magnifier app. Now this has been an app that's been present on iPad and iPhone for a while now. So the Magnifier app for Mac allows the user to connect a camera so that it can zoom in on the surroundings to make it clearer to read. Magnifier works with the continuity camera on iPhone, which is what I'm using now. You can see that I've got my iPhone selected, which is what I'm using to record this video. There's also the option to use the desk view camera, where it shows a view of the desk in front of you, so that might be useful for reading printed documents, for example, and obviously the FaceTime HD camera as well. You can also attach external cameras, but you would want to use your iPhone continuity camera if you are viewing something that is far away, like a screen, a presentation that you are watching. So you can just have your phone stood up or attached to your laptop so that you can see something that's quite far away and enhance it so that it's accessible for you. There are a ton of options for font, colors, backgrounds, spacing, and support for spoken content. So that's just scratching the surface of macOS 26 for teachers. I've got a ton of other videos on my YouTube channel here on how to use Mac and iPad in the classroom. So if you found this useful, please subscribe, set alerts, and each time a new video drops, you'll be the first to see it. If you've got any tips or suggestions for upcoming video topics, let me know in the comments below. I read them all. You can also head to my website, primaryedtech.com, for loads more free resources.